Hey everyone out there, this is Nate of the Nightwatch Podcast. Nate. I wouldn't say I'm famous, that's for damn sure. Infamy, maybe? I don't know. Probably not, but yeah, if I look like I got freaking socked in the face, see this big bump right here? I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. Man, my face is all swollen up around the cheekbone from yesterday. Yeah, I let my tooth go too long and I had to get a root canal, and man, was I thankful though. Whew. I mean, it's a little pricey. It's money I don't have, but whatever. You know, I'll pay it off eventually. You know, they're good enough that they take payments, and yeah, Aspen Dental, Pike. He's a pretty good. He's like an artist. That guy, man. He's got all these little power tools, hydraulic drill thing. It was a little brutal for that second root, man. You had to like kind of lay into it. I got pretty strong teeth, I guess, but yeah, evidently did some kind of trauma. I guess that's normal. I don't know. It's my first. It's my very first little root canal. How exciting is that? But yeah, it was definitely painful. I had to. He's like, yeah, only 10% might have a little toothache afterwards. Otherwise, it's not too bad. It's like, I could hardly sleep. Because like I said, it's like stabbing a freaking knife in my gums. Whew. And so no prescription drugs, but I did take a little ibuprofen and a Tylenol. So that did help. At least help me get to sleep. But I was still super raw, super achy feeling. Still haven't got that damn blinker fixed, but I just wanted to tell everybody I had these thoughts. In a second, let me put my seatbelt on like a responsible adult. All right, there we go. 'Cause I do actually value life, contrary to popular opinion. Driving around one-handed, no seatbelt half the time, but I tell you, when I get a train of thought chugging, it's hard for me to stop. So I just wanted to share some of my thoughts, my emotions, you know, whatever, from the other day's rally. And I was just going over some of that video, and I don't know, in particular, what struck me is that I think it's a 5-part series now. Now and then I might make an expression because my tooth hurts, and if I touch it, yeah, a little bit of pain. But I think what struck me the most is that first part of that 5-part series where I was just out in the field, snow coming down, you know, horrible day. Before we got there, and before we started seeing the lines upon lines of cars, you had to drive like 2 blocks away just to get a parking spot. And that was like, whoa, I had no idea there'd be that many people out there. But just that first impression of being out in the field and hearing that like just loud, passionate roar from that crowd. You know, after every time the whoever it was, I can't remember right now, but whoever the speaker was made a point. Man, it was such a roar. And I didn't think about this earlier, but it just came to me. It's like that, you know what? Lion pride, right? That was the roar of the crowd. And, you know, we're not supposed to be fearful, as Christians in particular. You know, faith over fear, that was one sign I saw, which I've said myself in the past. That verse just keeps popping in my mind. You know, the wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous, you know, the godly, are as bold as lions. And if you've ever seen like a big think it was on Twitter, I saw, it was at probably in Africa, some park where you drive through, and all these cars were stopped, and this just massive, I mean, just to see it in perspective with the other cars, this massive male lion, this huge mane, just comes trotting through between the cars, weaving between the cars, nice and slow, you know, didn't seem at all fearful. And it's like, yeah, he doesn't have any reason to be fearful. If any one of those little bipedal humans want to step outside of that car, yeah, that'd be a bad choice for a wee little human to do. But anyway, I'm getting off track. I was thinking about how, you know, just that passion from the crowd, and it was just like a letting go of all that exhaust, you know, all that evil CO2 emissions from all those oxygen breathing, CO2 emitting plagues upon the earth, according to the elite, evil, demonic, power hungry, monopolistic psychopaths who apparently have taken, you know, control of our government, captured our government. They talk about regulatory capture. Well, you know what? Our federal government, Washington swamp, has been captured. It's pretty clear by now. They do not serve us. They do not serve our interests. Let me stay on track. And I just thought about how the psychology behind that, you know, sure, I'll probably get a little bit caught up with the group dynamic as well, and just all the energy, you know, it's all kind of a blur because there's just so much going on, and your mind is trying to keep track of all these different people and signs and noise making machines, instruments, whatever. And yeah, we ended up right behind one of the big loudspeakers on stage. That was a poor choice. The thing was loud, man. Especially when they cranked up the music for the health department. And that's my idea. If any of those people that organized that, maybe I can find out some names and numbers or email addresses a little bit later. But whoever organized that, if you ever see this video, hey, if you guys want to do that every week, I'll be there. I'll be one of the ones to commit, because I think that's what's necessary. You know, you can't just have these random hit and miss rallies. You know, it's got to be like the old tax collector, you know, the Boston Tea Party days. Maybe without going so far as tar and feathering, you know, maybe we can come up with a little bit of a more humane treatment of these folks. But the overall point I'm trying to make is that they should not want that job. You know, that if they're not going to make the stand on principle, if they don't have principle for which to make a stand other than getting a paycheck or whatever fairy tale, you know, mission they think that they're fulfilling, being part of that health department. You know, why we need one anyway is anybody's guess, other than it's, you know, once again all about control. Yeah, you know, if they're not willing to make a stand on their own, within their own little spheres of influence, then, you know, maybe it's up to us to make the message clear that we do not appreciate what they're partaking in. And it doesn't mean you're making threats, and it doesn't mean anything violent. I'm just saying, I see nothing wrong with a real obnoxious, loud rally once a week, just right outside that health department. I think it was a, I don't know if he owned the property or rents it or what, but it was a guy. He had a huge like semi trailer with I can't remember now. It's something about fascist. Big sign on the side of it. And I think it was a message for the health department. who let them put on that rally. I think that's how they got away with it, you know, without being like arrested for trespassing or whatnot. And that's awesome. We need more people like that doing things like that, you know, to keep America free. And yeah, one of the ideas, we got one of the flyers. I didn't bring it today because I'm not really planning on going in these stores, just going up to get water. But flyers, I will not discriminate against, you know, any sex, creed, you know, race, as well as vaxxed or non-vaxxed status. And just go around asking business owners. I put that link in the Dell Bigtree video, assuming it's still up on YouTube without getting taken down already. You never know. And I did risk the channel a little bit. That would really kind of piss me off if they give me another strike, because then I'd be stuck for, I think it's 2 weeks without another upload, just in time for this much hyped Connecting the Jots podcast that I'm putting together based on the COP6, which is happening as we speak. And if it wasn't for some of these little distractions like the rally and the dental work, I would have probably been done with it by now. But anyway, side note, you know, I am sticking my neck out a little bit. I did edit the video with Dale because it's pretty explicit on what's behind these little medical experiments. And when you listen to him speak, you know, it's not just him as a badass investigative journalist. It's him compiling all the wisdom, all the knowledge of these different experts on the topic, including, you know, guys like Robert Malone, who arguably invented the mRNA jabs. He's compiling all these different experts into that 40-minute window of information in that, you know, what I consider a pretty powerful speech. And so if you haven't watched it yet, get up on my YouTube channel and watch it. I think it's part 4. It's right before the last part's just a short final thoughts when I was on my way home. Anyway, yeah, it was just really, I want to say, heartwarming to see and to be part of that. And thanks to everybody who showed up. And some of you might have heard of it on my fake book. I don't know. I sent out emails. I know there were several people there who I know, who I could never just link up with, because like I said, the crowd was so massive, and I didn't really feel like wandering around all day looking for people after the after Dale Bigtree's speech. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to get out of there. I had been standing for 2 hours, so in the cold, in the mud, my shoes were caked. It was messy. But you know what? That's small beans, man. That's nothing. To show up to a rally is nothing compared to what, you know, the badasses that built this country put up with and didn't put up with and stood for. You know, think of the martyrs. Think of the early Christian church. How many people alive today, I was just thinking about this, have the kind of faith that you would face lions, wild animals, for sport in the Colosseums in Rome? If you just not make one little tiny compromise, you know, whatever it is, sprinkle a little incense to Caesar. Render unto Caesar, right? I don't think they used that verse, did they? All the early Christian martyrs. I don't think that verse applied when it came to contradicting your faith. You know, your loyalty above all else should be to God. As a Christian, I'm just speaking as a Christian yet again. And if you have a firm foundation, like built on the rock of Christ, not Peter, of Christ, you know, that's a society that can't be manipulated, that can't be coerced, can't be bribed, you know, can't be intimidated to the extent where people would, I mean, medieval Europe, you know, Fox's Book of Martyrs, look at, just for the fun of it. It's not any fun to look at, but just to really let it sink in your mind. How powerful the faith of Christians used to be. I'm not saying that there's still some of those Christians that are alive today, but they're pretty few and far between, right? I mean, if you look at the torture devices that evil system that called itself the Church of Jesus Christ, that ruled over kings during the Dark Ages, the harlot riding on the beast, church and state. If you see the evil, just think of the evil mindset it took to come up with some of those disgusting methods of torture, to try to get people to recant, to get information out of people, basically. I don't know if you've heard of waterboarding, and I don't know if you ever looked that up, but that was actually one of the favorite torture methods of the Spanish Inquisition. And wow, so now America uses waterboarding? Yeah, we're kind of sinking back into that same mindset. Authoritarian, totalitarian, tyrannical, just a complete disregard for the liberty of the individual. And that's a real dangerous road to travel down, and history has proven time and time again that's not a good direction to head, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to go down that road. It's happened time and time again. The most evil atrocities that man can commit toward man has been done in the name of religion, has been done when a man has way too much power to exhibit over his fellow man, in positions of power in government and religion. So in any case, that's why we have the First Amendment, everybody. We got to remember that. As Republicans in particular, as the far right, the Christian right, whatever, you got to realize that from either side, the left or the right wing on the bird of fascism, our freedoms can be under threat. And everybody's all abuzz about a red wave right now. That's the sun, by the way. I just entered the valley of Estes. That's why I just got lit up like I was, I don't know, almost had a halo there for a second, it felt like. I'm driving by a police officer, so I'm going to go nice and slow. And I'm not going to act like I'm doing a vlog right now. But, yeah, everybody's all abuzz. Everybody's all talking on the Twitter about a red wave. And that's great. You know what? I realized that there's another officer really patrolling this road because they know people haul butt down it. But you know what? I realized that the Democratic Party, that the left, that the radical left, whatever you want to call them, the progressive, which I consider degressive, regressive, pardon me, left is like it's like the main artery for this push for, in the guise of social justice, for the continued erosion of our civil liberties, and basically the destruction of all things America, right? It's the left that makes it popular and trendy to just trash and hate and tear down statues and anything that does burn flags. Anything that stands for America is evil, right? Yet you live in this country. For some weird reason, you still live here. And all these other immigrants are flooding here because we're such evil, hateful racists that treat them so poorly that the government now is considering, here's a $250,000 check if for each person, by the way, if your family was broken up because of Trump's immigration policies. I just choked on my own. It's just insane. So I realized that, I'm no friend of the left. There are some good people on the left. I think Robert F. Kennedy of Children's Health Alliance considers himself a liberal. And you know what? If you look up classical liberal, I want you to do this. If you never have, if you're a right-wing conservative, whatever, Bible-thumping constitutionalist, go look up a classical liberal and see if you don't agree with a lot of those, same principles. So, both parties have been corrupted over time, and the things that they once stood for, they don't stand for anymore, do they? And that's how incrementalism works, and that's why this blind faith for the parties and this personality worship, this personality politics is so dangerous, and that's what's gotten us in so much trouble in the past. We got to stand for principle, and principle alone, and above all else, because as a Christian, there's one standard. It is Christ, the Messiah, Jesus, the Messiah, and he didn't choose a political party. He didn't wave a flag. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying he didn't. It says in the scripture that God he does not respect persons, individuals. Then why should we? Stand for principle, stand firm. Right now, the biggest thing under attack is our civil liberties, our freedoms here at home. And that's why I've always leaned libertarian, even though I am, like I mentioned recently, I'm still a registered Republican, and that's all I ever have been. So don't give me this crap that just because I question the other party, because I question, people's political messiahs, it seems like. Don't give me this crap that I'm not that I'm a traitor or some crap, or that I voted for Biden and I'm lining up for the jabs, That's just insanity. Okay, people, I gotta get going. I'm here, and I don't want to hold up somebody else at the water fill station, so thanks for listening. God bless. See ya.